Good afternoon. It is Monday, March 31st, 12:30 in the afternoon, and Skookum Lady is underway again. We're just barely back into the Atlantic. We're still in the channel, leaving the river here at St. Simon's Island, Brunswick area of Georgia. And this is the start of Northbound 2025. We're going to kind of take it easy this time heading up. We've had a busy last couple of weeks. Moved my sister and my storage unit and everything up to Maine in a 26-foot U-Haul truck. Spent a few days with the grandbabies and the rest of the family, and then got in a rental car and drove back down. And of course, I caught a cold, giving snookums to my grandkids. And the last couple of days I've been feeling pretty rotten. But we were able to get her underway this morning out of Brunswick Landing Marina. I'm finally, just now as we're hitting the swell of the Atlantic, finally my heart is starting to settle in, and I'm not feeling like I'm on a frantic tear anymore. Beautiful day, chance of some rain and widely scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, but then after that we should have some good winds and so forth. I'm going to go up the coast, and when I get to Charleston sometime tomorrow afternoon or the next day, I'll decide whether I'm going to keep going up to Wrightsville Beach or if I'm going to stop for a day or two. I am feeling better, but I still have a bit of a cold, so we'll see how things go. The electric motor is working great. The whole system so far is working great. It got me out of the marina and to the wind, at which point the sails went up and the motor went off. And it only took about 2% of my power, my available storage capacity, to do that. And that was motoring for about 40 minutes before I shut the motor off. I was motor sailing some, and after about 40 minutes getting out of the cut there at Brunswick Landing, I shut the motor off and have been sailing since. But things are going well, and boy does it feel good to be at sea again. Well, it's 20 minutes till 8. I don't know if you can hear this or not with all the wind blowing. We've been riding this squall line for, the last hour and a half. Lots of thunderstorms in the area. And I just saw the sunset. It's always good to look behind you every once in a while, or I'd have missed it. You can see it right there. Front is pretty much past right now. We'll probably have rain and this heavy wind again for another hour, and then things will go back to normal. We've got the jib furled down to just the storm jib size. The main is down, and we're broad reaching right now, doing 4 knots in a fairly confused sea, but nothing too bad. I'm able to hold course. Hardly any problem at all, and I'm hand steering. Raymond would never be able to take this this confused sea and be able to hold any kind of a reasonable course. Things are starting to calm down, but you had to see that sunset. Would you look at that? That is why we do this. Morning, Liam and Aurelia. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2025. About 7:30 in the morning. After the thunderstorms last night, it rained for a little while. It was kind of miserable. And when the winds stabilized a little bit, I turned the autopilot back on and started to sail, and it was a little rolly and the winds were still a little confused, and the autopilot quit working altogether. So I came out and I monkeyed with it a little bit. It was darker than the inside of a whale, even with my deck lights on. Just couldn't seem to make anything happen with it. So, with the winds being fair for Charleston, excuse me, I just set the jib amidships just a sliver, and I just let the wind push us. So as a result, we've only gone about 2 miles all night, even though I've got plenty of good wind. But recovering from a cold, I was starting to feel a little beat down, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna get some sleep. I'll just let her take care of herself. I'm just gonna get some sleep, and I will deal with it in the morning. And even right now, I've got a cup of coffee. I'm about half drunk, and I'm just winded today. Got to get my sea legs back, fighting a cold, or the tail end of a cold anyway. So anyway, I got up, I unplugged the autopilot, monkeyed with it a little bit, didn't do it, whatever, you know, plugged it back in, turned it on, it works. So it's not running right now. I figure, well, let's get a cup of coffee, and then we'll make way. And then I thought, let's make a video too. So it's a beautiful day, Cavu, ceiling and visibility unlimited. Looks like it might be a little foggy over there on the shoreline, about 12 miles off the coast. And we've got a fair wind. So I'm gonna finish this cup of coffee and head for Charleston. Lost a lot of good mileage yesterday. I should be at Charleston now, or at least past Savannah, between Savannah and Charleston by now, but that's okay. We get in closer to Charleston, we'll get a good winds forecast. We'll decide whether we go to Wrightsville Beach or just pull into Charleston for a little while. That may be the thing to do anyway. Today, while we're underway, the main project on my mind is getting rigged for sheet to tiller steering. I don't need to be out here in this boat with no way of having something else steer her. Unlike my last boat, Serenity, this boat is a little squirrel if nobody's on the helm. So, but she's a lot faster than Serenity, so I guess trade-off as long as we have multiple ways of self-steering. So, sheet steering is the day's project. "7:30 in the evening, April Fools is almost in the books of April 1st, 2025. I'm down below right now. It's not quite as entertaining as it was last night, and I don't think we'll see the sunset because we've got maybe an eighth of a mile visibility in fog. Very, very dense fog. I crossed the channel into Savannah at about 5:30, a little before 5:30. And I got an AIS alert, AIS warning, collision warning. And there was a big ship coming down the channel and I couldn't see him. So just to the south side, the very south side of the channel, I started heading to parallel the channel on the south side, headed west. And he was in the middle of the channel, clearly, and passed right past me. We had to be within half mile, less than a half a mile, and I couldn't see him. So once the AIS said he had passed me, I crossed the channel and continued on my merry way. We were becalmed a good bit today. We had some wind for a little while today. I'm feeling considerably better now than I did this morning, but that's mostly because I napped most of the day. Right now, we're running under the full jib and first reef in the Maine. We have southeast winds, about 15 miles an hour. And really don't need the reef, but we're doing 6 knots. And with the reef, it's much more comfortable right now. So that's good for me. This is going to put us off of the mouth of Charleston about 4 o'clock in the morning. Tide doesn't, the current reversal, the flood current doesn't occur till about 6:30 in the morning. And I'm in close enough, I was able to get a good look at the windy app, and I think I'm going to have pretty fair winds all the way to Wrightsville Beach. So I think I've decided I'm not going to hang out at the mouth of the channel into Charleston just to go into Charleston and anchor. I think I'm just going to keep going. And I will go to Wrightsville Beach unless something changes between now and then. I will go to Wrightsville Beach. Whether I'll go past that, we'll see when I get there. Right now, it's 50-50 whether I'd be able to make it around the Outer Banks and into the Chesapeake before this next cold front comes through with all of its fun and games. I don't want to get caught in 30-knot winds off the coast of North Carolina. So I'm probably going to hang out at Wrightsville Beach for a couple of days, and then I can head out and kind of chase that storm away and tuck in right behind it and head on up to the Chesapeake. So for right now, that's the plan. That and to rest and to work on the boat while we're going here and get healthy. Get healthy. So this is the end of day 2 of Northbound 2025. So Liam, Aurelia, have a good night. Well, good morning. It's Wednesday, the 2nd day of April, 2025, and it's 10:23 in the morning. And we are close hauled, heading outbound from the shoreline. Last night, with the fog came very light winds, and then we were becalmed for a while. And then about midnight, there was a whisper of a breeze out of the north. So it's like, well, I can either go on one tack and go towards land, or go on the other tack and go away from land. So I chose that one. And just let her drift, basically. The winds were so light, I just lashed the helm and had the main out, thinking that this morning the winds would come back up again. And what have you. I didn't want to retrograde too far. And I ended up this morning being about 13, 14 miles offshore when I finally turned her around and started working my way back in. And with the sun came some wind out of the northeast. Unfortunately, I'm headed towards the northeast. So that meant, well, it's going to be a Tack-fest for a little while. I was too far offshore to be able to get a look at the Windy app. I didn't have service. So I started inland and when I got service, I looked and yep, sure enough, about noontime, the winds are supposed to veer around enough that I'll be able to hold my course again. I just tacked 10 minutes ago. I'd gotten into inland about as close as I dared, and now I tacked again, and I'll go probably about the 12-mile mark based on current speed and so forth. Should be about the time that the winds are starting to veer enough that I should be able to hold Charleston on my next tack. And then there'll be a little squirreliness tonight according to the app. But then I should have a fair wind straight through to Sunday anyway. I need to be in Wrightsville Beach by Saturday to avoid this next big storm that's coming. I don't want to be crossing or going around the Outer Banks in heavy winds and seas. So I'm going to ride that out in Wrightsville Beach. So no rush right now. I haven't made it to Charleston yet. I'm going to quit making predictions about how long it's going to take me to get someplace because it never works out. Of course, it's a sailing. Last night Marita said, well, are you going to motor? And it's like, no, I don't want to flatten the batteries on this thing. The wind generator is giving me some power back, though it'll be nice when I have the 48-volt solar as well. But we are getting some power generation. I haven't had to light off the gas generator or anything, and don't expect that I'll ever need to. But we'll see what happens. I made it from Bangor to Brunswick on 3 gallons of gas. Let's see if I can make it from Brunswick back up to Bangor on 0 gallons of gas. That would be my goal. And I don't care how long it takes. As long as I'm up there before the recital, I'll be a happy guy. So, but anyway, last night was very foggy, it was just a nasty night. It was very damp out. I stayed down below decks most of the time, stuck my head up occasionally just to make sure there wasn't anybody out there, and couldn't see anything anyway, so I was strictly relying on AIS and GPS to keep me off of buoys and other boats, which I never saw any. Putting radar on this boat would be a nice idea for the few people that operate out here that don't have AIS now. I have seen a couple of those, but I think by and large, most folks that are working out here do have AIS on their boats now. So I feel fairly safe and secure in the fog when I can't barely see the bow of the boat. So anyway, we are underway still, and things are going well. I was able to get some sleep last night after a fashion, and today we're just going to be doing the Tack-fest. Being close hauled like this, we've got a pretty good heel on. We've got a heel on as opposed to running or broad reaching. So I don't think I'm going to try to get any work done today. I was going to try to start working on the AC system while I'm underway. We'll see what happens when the winds shift on our quarter more. Maybe I'll start working on that then. I'm feeling better. The cold is starting to dissipate. I was coughing up a lot of stuff out of my lungs last night, so that tells me it's over and it's just breaking up. I'm getting some energy back. I think I'm starting to get my sea legs. The trip is progressing nicely. Good morning. It is 10:08 on Thursday, the 3rd day of April 2025. And this is day 4 of Northbound 25 on Skookum Lady. Last night was pretty good once the winds got going. We finally made it through the channel at Charleston and made our course for the tip of Frying Pan Shoal. And we were doing pretty good there for a while. And then the wind started to lighten a little bit, and we found ourselves absolutely becalmed at like 4:15 this morning, I think, is when I finally said, all right, we're done. Just strap things down so they don't slam so much and go to sleep. And this morning, I got up with the sun, hoping that the winds would pick up with the sun. And about 7:30, something like that, there was enough of a breeze. We started making way. Of course, during the night, or during that 3 or 4 hours of being becalmed, the current took us backwards 3 miles. So, but that's okay. We've regained it, and we're making in the neighborhood of 3 knots right now. Sometimes more, sometimes less. With a little bit of a roll, but it's not bad. Beautiful sunny outside, nice and cool. Woke up to a potted dolphin waiting for me to get moving, and then when I started moving, they started riding my wakes, and that was kind of nice having some visitors this morning. Beautiful sunrise, absolutely beautiful sunrise. So I just made my first cup of coffee. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit and I'll drink it. Not feeling real well today. This cold that I've had, I kept coughing a lot last night. I think I've got my lungs pretty much clear now. And I did get some sleep last night, so I don't know why I'm feeling so blah.
But maybe that'll improve with this cup of coffee. I normally had a cup, if not two by now, so maybe that's it. I need this coffee. What I need to do is wean myself off of this stuff. But not today. So as the sun gets higher, I think the winds are picking up. You know, it's funny, yesterday when I was in close to Charleston and was able to get service, I looked at the Windy app, and it said that all day today and all day tomorrow and all night last night, we were supposed to have southeast winds at 15 knots. And that's what we had once it picked up last night. But then, why did they, you know, they had no indication that they were going to die down completely or that they were going to be light this morning. So, hey, it's the weather. You know, meteorology is the only job you can have where you're allowed to be incorrect and still keep your job. So, at least the winds are fair. And I think they are picking up a little bit. Hopefully we'll be able to go. We're 70 miles from the end of Frying Pan Shoal. So at 3 knots, that'll take us a month. But no, we'll be in tomorrow. The goal is to be into Wrightsville Beach by Saturday, so that I have time to get anchored up and get things secured for this weather that's coming starting Sunday night. So we got lots of time. I'm not concerned. Just not feeling real well, that's all. So, but that too will change. So, but for now, I think I'm going to drink my coffee and then see if that helps. If not, maybe I'll take another nap. And we have another day in the books. For a day that started out with me not feeling real well and with me wondering if the wind was going to pick up and do anything, and just really kind of blah, this turned into one of the best days of sailing I think I've ever experienced. We've been making us 5-6 knots all day, with a nice easy ride. Looks like we got 3 to 4 foot swells here, but she rides so well. It's been just marvelous all day long. I was able to get some work done to the boat while we were underway. Now I think it's movie night. Pull the laptop out. Time to watch a movie of some sort. Get some sleep. The GPS is telling me now that I'll be off the southern tip of Frying Pan Shoal 1 or 2 in the morning. We'll see what the winds continue to do. If they stay steady, that's what it'll be. If they go up or down, well, so will our ETA. If things stay the way they are, I should be at Monsonboro Inlet, which is right there at Wrightsville Beach, 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll see how it all times out. But for a day that started out the way it did, well, I tell you, it started out with dolphins. The first thing I saw when I stuck my head out of the hatch this morning were the dolphins waiting for me to get underway. And I think they're the ones that gave me the beautiful day today. So thank you very much to our dolphin friends.
Now it's movie night. I think I'll take a bath first, then it'll be movie night. Hopefully some good sleep. We've seen, had a tugboat go by here just a little while ago, pulling a barge. Going to the entrance to the Cape Fear River. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic comes out of Wilmington, North Carolina through that, so may see some more traffic tonight. Hopefully it'll be light though, and we stay out of each other's way. But here we go. More tomorrow. Good morning. It's 10:18 on Friday, the 4th of April, 2025. This is day number 5. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, day number 5 of Northbound 2025. And I'm about 10 miles from the Monsonboro Inlet at Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. And hold on. Nope, he picked it up. We're in a rolly sea and a light wind. Well, it's not real rolly, but occasionally we get a groundswell that comes across that kicks her stern over, and then the autopilot goes, oh my gosh, I can't hold the course. And then it grabs it back. And then we pick up a little speed and get back on course. We're getting closer and closer to the beach. The track on the GPS is saying that we should be able to make the inlet without having to jibe and go out a little ways so that we can come back in. Speed varies between 2 and 4.5 knots. And we're just ghosting along, it feels like. I think we have a little current behind us. I'm hoping to get in before 1 o'clock anyway. So I missed the worst of the ebb tide. I'd like to be in there right now because we're on the flood right now. But that's not going to happen. So if we can get there by around 1, then I'll end up having to motor the 1.5 miles into the channel and over to the anchorage. But it hopefully won't be too strong, and I won't have to really drain the batteries getting into the anchorage. So we will see what we get. Hopefully things will work out. Well, they'll be what they are, so there's no sense in worrying about it, right? Last night, got a lot of broken sleep between trying to keep this thing going. Why is it I'll have great speed? Like last night, I was making 5.5, 6 knots. And at 1 o'clock this morning, I had cleared Frying Pan Shoal, so it was time to make an 80-degree left turn, 70-degree, 80-degree left turn, to start running up Cape Fear. And I no sooner made the turn and the wind died. And then the boom was just slam, slam, kind of like what it's doing now, only a lot worse. So I pulled the Maine down and I ran with the jib pulled out for a little while, and then it was where that wouldn't do, so I took the pole down and I was able to just keep the jib going. And I've been just ghosting along ever since. This morning, sunrise, I got up, I put the Maine back up, and We're just ghosting along. So how come from 6 knots, make a turn, and you're doing 2.5? I never can understand it. But as long as we're making 1/10 of a knot in the right direction, I'm a happy guy. And that's what we're doing. So, but today I should be in Wrightsville Beach, anchored up. I'll get a good solid night's sleep tonight. Get a nice bath tonight that I would be most grateful for. When I get in and get settled, we'll take a good deep dive into the forecast over the next 10 days or so. See how long we're going to stay here. I want to be able to make it around the Outer Banks without too much difficulty. Don't want to beat her up too badly. All in all, we've had a good sail so far. Touch wood, it'll stay that way. But for now, it's ghost and ghost and ghost. Oh, and now the wind, all of a sudden, boom. Now we're shifting wind. Where did this come from? The wind just changed direction. And we are aback. So I guess I ought to trim my sails. More later.